Hi, everybody. I really was inspired to create this video because of a conversation that I had with a client in the last couple of days. And we hear a lot about the stop, challenge, and choose. And that's that point where you really become aware about what you're thinking so that you can stop yourself, challenge what you're thinking, and then choose what you're going to think next so you can move yourself forward. But in part, I wondered how people can help make themselves be aware of what they're thinking. So in the course of this conversation with this client who's struggling, she had texted me and said, "I suck. I really need your help." So we got on the phone and started talking, and we talked about the fact that it is about growing yourself. And whether you're a client or whether you're a coach, it's that personal development piece. And that the higher you grow, the more success is sustainable. She was talking about, why she had wanted to lose weight. And that was to really have a light footprint in the world. And I said, okay, well, I'm not sure I understand what that means. Why is that important to you? And I discovered that, well, it is important to her that we be kind to the planet and our environment. So I said, well, are you being kind to your environment? You're concerned about putting toxic waste in our environment out here, but what about the toxic waste that you're putting in your own environment? And that, those are those things that there are those ahas by listening. And I said, okay, well, so what did you do then? How was your week and what was happening? And she started listing these things. Well, I purged my kitchen and I organized all of the materials that you've given me. I planned all my meals. We were talking at dinner time, and I realized I let my family know that I'm expressing my love for them by cooking healthy meals. And I said, those are all really great things. And that's wonderful. And those are important things to do. I said, but what about the I suck part? Because we know that thoughts set up your emotions. Your emotions are generally what you react to. So you do an action, and it could be negative or positive, depending on what the emotion is. If it's a negative emotion, a lot of times your next action is pretty negative. And then that dictates what your outcome is going to be. And it sort of occurred to me that if I really listened, I would hear the words that someone was using. And it kind of got me back to the grammar days. And I said to her, well, what are all those words? Purged, organized, planned, expressed, cooked. What are they? And she didn't understand where I was going. I said, aren't those all verbs? And she said, yes. And I said, and what is a verb? It's an action word. I said, okay. So we just talked about the fact that, intervening at the point of just the action generally isn't sustainable. You have to go back 2 more steps, figure out what you were thinking about, which is the whole purpose of stop, challenge, and choose. It's to stop yourself, really think what you're thinking about, challenge what it is you're saying to yourself, and then make a choice there. You can change that thought process. So what she took from that was she was using all action words, and I said, what about I suck? Where is that coming from? Why do you say that to yourself? And that kind of got back to the thought process. So this whole thing had been happening because she's feeding herself all of this terrible self-talk, and it made her feel bad. So her actions were she was going out and eating, and of course she was having bad outcomes. So as I explained this process to her, as it related to stop, challenge, and choose, I thought, well, it might be kind of cool actually to have a little journal for her at the end of the day. And I created the thoughts, emotions, actions, and then an outcome, little columns. So I said, why don't you, at the end of every day, kind of go back over the day. What was on your mind? What were you thinking about most of the day? How was that making you feel? What did you do about it? You know, were you able to stop the process, or did you make a different choice based on reacting to your emotion? And then what was the outcome? So there's a few possible scenarios here. She's thinking, I suck, and she's feeling bad. At that moment, she can say, wait a minute, stop. You know, I don't suck because blah, 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 and I really do blah, blah, blah. So you change the thought, which in turn starts to switch her emotions. So to me, the emotion kind of is the indicator that there's a thought process going on. So in trying to put this together on this stop part, I thought, well, if you're feeling like crap, then you're having some bad thought processes. And that's when you're feeling bad, you stop. You know, where is this feeling coming from? We all know it's coming from a thought. So what am I thinking about? And that was what just helped me, not just help a client, but help myself too. Try to implement that stop, challenge, and choose in a way that you had consistency with it. You know, you could consistently grab onto an emotion and go, wait a minute, there's an underlying thought there. So I'm feeling bad. I'm gonna follow that trail back. And if I'm using all these verbs in my daily process, I'm just doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and I'm not being aware of my thought process because I'm just doing and reacting to my emotions. So I created that little journal. I wrote this all out in a Word document. I hope that helps somebody. And if you have somebody that's struggling, maybe that will help you too. And I think it kind of jumps right into our stop, challenge, and choose. So, you know, feel free to use it or not. It was kind of an aha with me, with this client, and it was an aha for the client too. So maybe it'll help one of yours. Thanks, everybody.